micro to macro offer flow. And in this training, you are going to choose your offer focus within the context of offer art. So I'm going to start with a micro to macro offer flow. We went over this in a previous training briefly when we talked about product suite for high cash months. And I talked about how, yes, you're going to start with more of your macro offers. Ideally, very quickly after one-to-one coaching, that's going to be filling this mid-ticket, semi-scalable program where it's at least 3 months for monthly recurring revenue and client transformation reasons. And you're going through everything that's really required for the macro transformation that you teach, whatever that is. Land the dream job, book the dream role as an actress, build the business, get the guy, heal your marriage, lose the weight, become an athlete, whatever that is, it's done here. And it's like your home space, your long-term space to do all the things. And before that, we have micro offers, and I'm going to refer to micro offers and touch point offers as the same thing. I'm going to use those phrases interchangeably. And really, micro offers or touch point offers is everything underneath it, because all of these different programs, whether it's a freebie, whether it's something super low ticket like a $27 boot camp, whether it's something low ticket like a one-off strategy session where you do XYZ, whether it's more of a program that goes deep on one topic like this, like Offer Art, or you've heard of my other program like Trailblazing Content, where we go deep on content that converts, or if you do a mini mind that's a few weeks or a couple months that has a focus. All of these work as, of course, cash injections. Of course, they're bringing money into the business, but they also really work as lead generation to bring new leads in, new ideal clients in, and allow them to try you on for lower to mid ticket, and then makes it much easier for you to sell out these higher ticket offers after they try you on. So where people mess this up, common mistakes that happen with this, is the micro offers don't all relate to one macro transformation for one dream client. So what I mean by this, let's look at my business. When I have different micro programs, as an example, a content program, an offer program, a leadership program, maybe I do a launch and sales program down the line, or I do a little mini content boot camp, or a content strategy session, or a content mini mind, or a leadership mini mind, or an offer suite mini mind. All of these different things all are pieces of the puzzle that add up to one macro transformation, which is grow a multi-six-figure business, grow an online business. They all work together, and the dream client could jump through all of them, because the dream client is the same who would be interested in a content program, who would also be interested in a launch and sales program, who would also be interested in an offers program, is all the same ideal client that would funnel into my mid-ticket signature program, my mastermind, or one-on-one coaching. Right? So all of these work together, and she would jump from one to the other. She could jump here, she could jump down here, and it's for one person. So where people mess this up is they'll say, well, I'm really good at spirituality for business owners here, and actually I really want to do a relationship program over here, and I want to do this over here. Make sure that all of your micro programs are for one dream client so she can jump from one to the next, and that they're working to funnel that dream client in to your higher ticket programs. So rather than having it be all over the place where they don't all relate to each other as pieces to one macro transformation, or they don't flow as stepping stones to the macro offer. And what I mean by this, when they don't flow as stepping stones, is something like doing an advanced barbell booty lift program for a fitness instructor, right? You're using a barbell, you're doing hip thrusts, you're doing deadlifts, you're doing back squats, and then you do a short-term DIY $100 program as a micro offer, and then your long-term space is a fitness program for beginners, well, that doesn't flow because it's not for the same ideal client at the same level of the result that you teach. And it doesn't, the person who is going to buy this is not the person who's going to buy this. Rather, if this were something like a low ticket, learn how to brace your core and start body weight exercises at home to get strong, that would probably be a better stepping stone offer for a beginner because it's the same level of awareness. Here's another example of what not to do. If you were to do a micro program, let's say it's like a 1-week boot camp, how to niche down and find your ideal client. Let's say you're a business coach for beginners to business, how to niche down and find your ideal client. And then on the back end, you were trying to sell a high level mastermind for people scaling to 50K months. Well, those don't go together because they're not the same level of the transformation. So the ideal client who buys this is not the ideal client who's ascending into that. So instead, you want your micro offers to be a taster menu for the right dream clients who are at the right level of problem. She has the same ultimate goal, the same macro desires, so that she tries you on, she tries a taster of you with a micro program or a touch point offer, and then she effortlessly upsells where you want her to go. Because your ultimate goal is to have people constantly filling into your semi-scalable offers, long-term, mid and higher ticket programs. Why? Because these are the programs that are going to bring in monthly recurring revenue, which, like we've talked about in previous trainings, is your recipe for a sustainable, healthy, growing business. Whereas if we only sold these, you're always going to be on the roller coaster of high and low cash months. So these, yes, are cash injections, but they're really focusing on filling these programs on the back end. Okay, so let's start with macro offers. Again, I know that we've talked about this before in previous trainings, but over time, you're going to have 1 to 4 home space macro offers where you work on all the things for the macro transformation, but just at varying levels of proximity. So over time, that could be as robust or as minimal, robust as having a low ticket membership, a mid ticket membership, a high level mastermind, and one-to-one coaching. Or it could be as minimal as just doing a signature, pretty scaled out with over 100 people, mid-ticket program, and maybe some higher proximity options. And you keep that very, very simple as your main macro offer options. So ultimately, again, your goal is to fill these programs. You're always going to start with this because these are the programs that are going to stack the monthly recurring revenue, which is going to keep your business healthy, growing, and sustainable for the long game. Okay, so you're starting with these. This is where you want to start with. Now remember, for a lot of you, and we talked about this in the High Cash Offer Suite training, this is where your focus is right now, and you don't need to worry about making a bunch of micro programs. This is something that I find starts to happen around 20K, 30K months generally for people, because you've worked on this and you've filled this out, and then you start going more into micro programs. So if you're not there, you're probably just focused on making a really kick butt, mid-ticket, semi-scalable, long-term, a few months at least program, and that's your main thing, your main offer that you want to be filling, and you get to keep your focus here within the context of Offer Art. If you're more in the process of scaling and you feel really solid about what your home spaces are, maybe you have a mid-ticket group, maybe you have a mastermind, maybe you have one-on-one coaching, and you really want to start playing with micro programs that go deep, you can play with that for your curriculum design within Offer Art. Okay, so decide where you are. And now let's talk about micro offers to help fill your macro programs. So Like I said, inside your offer suite, you're going to have macro offers that are going to work as a taster menu to your long-term offers. These are touch point offers that allow customers to try you on before committing to larger investments. And you want to think of this like, it's like trying on the wedding dress before you say yes to the dress. People now, especially in 2024, consumers are, I don't know if I want to use the word skeptical, but consumers are more careful about higher ticket coaching investments. They're shopping around. They're typically trying coaches on before high ticket investments, and you give them the opportunity to do that with your touch point offers and then effortlessly upsell them, like we've been saying. So there are lots of different benefits to having micro offers in your product suite. Yes, they're going to work as cash injections, and we talked about this in previous trainings, that when you have a good amount of volume, these micro programs really can add up. And depending on the prices that you're charging, these can really add up as significant pieces of your annual revenue. As an example, if you're selling a $500 micro program and you have 100 people in there, well, that's $50,000 that month. Right? Is that the right math? Yes. That's not bad. That's not bad. So it's going to be cash injections, and it's going to help you sell out your higher ticket programs. And long term, what's going to happen is you're going to turn these into passive evergreen sales and funnels on the back end. So as an example, I'm going through Offer Art right now live with a live cohort. Maybe you're a part of it watching this, and it's being dripped out in real time, and we're having live Q&As. But after I run this live, Offer Art Live, it's going to turn into a passive offer. Click here to buy, get instant access to these trainings, and I will bring X amount of dollars into my business without adding any more time to my calendar. Someone will just buy Offer Art, have a great experience, and it will work as a sales flow, a sales funnel, if you will, into my higher ticket offers on the back end without adding any more of my time and bringing in a cash injection. So these micro offers have really long game benefits. You want to be building out your digital assets over time. Over time, it's really healthy for you to be putting time and effort into building out micro offers, because long term, it's going to turn into passive cash, passive funnels, passive sales flows. But there will be that building period where you're spending a lot of time and energy creating the content, launching it, filling the micro offers, etc. Okay, so how do you decide what the topic of your micro offer is going to be? Well, the micro offer is going to go deep on one piece of the pie, meaning one piece of the pie. If I think about what goes into, as an example, building a multi-six-figure internet business, well, what goes into that? Content, offers, launching, sales, leadership. So I might just go deep on one piece of the pie, like I'm doing right now in Offer Art. We're just talking about offers. We're not talking about everything else that goes into building a successful, thriving online business. Or you can go into one angle to a lot of the pieces of the pie. So one angle that goes over a lot of the pieces of the pie could be, as an example, it factor. When I did a multi-day boot camp challenge, whatever you want to call it, I was talking about it factor, the energy that attracts, but I talked about it through the lens of lots of different pieces of the pie. I talked about it factor in your content and messaging. I talked about bringing it factor to your offers. I talked about bringing it factor to your branding. I talked about bringing it factor to different pieces of the pie. So you can do that too. Another example here, just giving a different niche example, one piece of the pie example might be selling a mindset for weight loss program where you're just going deep on the mindset required to lose weight, the identity required to lose weight. Maybe another time it's more meal prep for weight loss and you're just going deep on meal prep. Or a different slice of the pie, it could be counting macros for weight loss, or like eating out for weight loss, social events for weight loss. It's just one slice of the pie. Or you could give it an angle like summer weight loss or hot for summer bundle, lose the weight while traveling this summer, where you may be talking about multiple different pieces of the pie. You may be talking about calorie counting, or you may be talking about eating out at restaurants, or you may be talking about dealing with social pressures, or how you need to identify when you stay lean on vacation and mindset. You may be talking about different pieces of the puzzle, but it's through one angle. So these are different ways that you can come up with micro offers. And again, they all funnel into the macro offer. So your client should be able to jump from micro offer to micro offer because they all make sense for your one dream client. Just like you could buy offer art from me, you can buy trailblazing content from me, you could buy a leadership program from me, you could buy a launch and sales program from me, and it would all make sense because it's all leading to and helping you with the same macro transformation, and you're my one true dream client. Or you'll buy this and immediately go, I want the Trailblazers, or I want Amplify Mastermind, where you get access to everything like we've talked about, okay? So why I'm going over all of this in so much detail is because what's coming up in Offer Art is we're working on curriculum design for one offer. So in the context of Offer Art, I'm going to have you focus on one offer for curriculum design your current time going through this program. This is a program you can continue to come back to. So if you want to go through it for other offers later on, of course I encourage you to, but right now, one offer focus. So if you're working on right now, refining on a macro offer, maybe it's your mid-ticket membership, or it's more of like a signature A to B style program course that's more mid-ticket, start there. Start there within the context of Offer Art. Don't worry about doing a bunch of micro offers. But again, if you're scaling, then you can lean into, okay, I want to start playing with micro offers to upsell people, to let people try me on and do a nice curriculum design for a nice, robust micro program. So always start with your macro offer first, like I said, because you're always working to fill these. Have business awareness. I know I keep emphasizing this throughout this training, but I just want to emphasize it again. If different things to consider when you're with what you're selling at a different time in your business. If you really feel that you need to warm up your audience, this is important. You need to warm up your audience for more of the mid-ticket, long-term or high-ticket long-term programs. You really need to warm people up to have a pool of people ready to buy something that's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is. Then your micro programs should be free or low ticket short-term touchpoint offers, like challenges, boot camps, workshops, master classes. I'm going to add this here. I'm going to say generally under, I would say like $111, like affordable, because it needs to be a no-brainer. And then there's start there, because that's going to allow people to try you on and build a ton of trust with you. And there's an option also to sell micro offers that obviously aren't scalable but are higher proximity. So that could be things like a content strategy session if you're a business coach, or if you're a nutrition coach, doing something like a nutrition audit, or maybe you do a day in a messaging access app where you accomplish XYZ together for ABC results. But it's also lower ticket, easy. Yes, people are going to fall in love with you, because when they get direct feedback from you, they're going to go, oh my gosh, you changed my life. What's the next step to work with you longer term? And this is a great place to start with micro offers outside of focusing on your macro program. So I'm just going to pull this chart up. You're going to stay in this zone like we talked about over here, right? If you're in the beginning of your business building, you're focusing on this and this, right? This and this here. If you're further along in your business building process, if you have a warm, hot audience in your belt, that's when I would recommend start selling more of the micro programs that are in that multi-$100 range, maybe even, depending on your price points, into getting closer to the $1,000 range to upsell people on the back end. But again, and I know I talked about this in the past training, this isn't something that I started doing until I really felt like I had people buying. It was when I really started hitting like multi six figures in a year. I really started hitting like 20K, 30K months. This is when I started to bring this in. Why? Because it might not feel great to put a ton of energy into a program where you sign on 5 clients at $500. It might have felt just better to sell one person into your macro program. That's why I recommend that. Okay, cool. So if you are going to go the micro route, what is one piece of the problem that you can solve for your dream client? You can also refer back to your artist brain dump for ideas. Choose that micro topic. You can give it a micro topic focus or an angle, right? It can be like if it's a seasonal angle, like maybe it's summer when you're watching this and it's the, summer bundle angle or the summer challenge angle for X transformation, or it's an angle like you're focusing on leadership in all of these different contexts of the things that you teach, or again, it's just a narrow slice of the pie. So you're going to pick your offer focus, and that's going to be what you're selling and you're focusing on, okay? So with that being said, I want you to choose the offer that you are going to focus on within the context of this pass-through of offer art. Are you focusing on a micro or a macro program? So maybe right now you are focusing on your macro program because that's where you're at in your business, and you master that semi-scalable macro offer first. And then if you decide to go deep on a micro offer because you are there in your business and you're a little bit further along, remember it should be a stepping stone to a bigger upsell macro offer on the back end. So if you don't have that, then you should be focusing here. Right? If you don't have that, you should be focusing here, because otherwise you're not going to have anywhere for them to go. If you are focusing on a micro offer because you do have all the pieces in place and that's where you're at in your business, then pick the topic of your next micro offer. And if you're focusing on your macro program, then you know what that big macro program is, what the big transformation that you solve is, and that's going to be the focus of your offer in curriculum design. Whatever you choose, if you're doing the latter and you're further along in your building business journey, then you're going to pick any topic that you desire that leads into your macro program on the back end, and that's going to be the micro offer that we move forward in building out a framework and curriculum design for. All right, I will see you in the next one.